Hi, this is Elizabeth Payne in Emerging Learning Technologies class at Concordia University. This is my presentation on disruptive innovations in education. So what are disruptive innovations? According to Clayton Christensen, disruptive innovations are changes that take place where current goods and services are replaced by new ideas, devices, or methods that are more accessible for a larger customer base meeting their needs or demands. Here are some examples of things that were disruptive innovations: the light bulb, a home computer, plastic, CDs or DVDs. What are disruptive innovations in education? Disruptive innovations in education are changes that allow for high quality instruction that reaches more students by addressing everyone's learning needs through the application of technology. Here are some disruptive innovations in education: flipping the classroom, linked learning, project-based learning, and virtual reality. What is currently happening in education are not really disruptive innovations, but have the potential to be disruptive. Changes in education either fizzle out or develop through a slow burn and are not as yet significant. Education as an industry is slow to change and slow to embrace things that have not been proven. However, there are cycles in education where the next best idea is the one we had 5 years prior. We all agree that the education system is not up to the challenge of the 21st century, ignoring the fact that we are 18 years in and not much better than we were before. The need for technology to improve students' learning is in demand, but slow to happen. Parents and students want meaningful learning experiences, but schools are not yet providing them. So how many teachers does it take to change a light bulb? None, because teachers don't like change. So, all joking aside, few teachers embrace change. Taxpayers don't want to pay for it, and the only change that really happens are a few teachers who are tired of the status quo. At my school, I'm only aware of about 5% of our teaching staff that are doing anything that resembles disruptive innovations. If there are more, no one is sharing. More teachers would embrace disruptive innovations if there was support with professional development or teachers teaching each other what they're doing. Few really want to go out and find their own innovations or figure things out themselves. Change is time consuming and requires persistence. So the current situation in education, based on my knowledge, is that there's not enough technology available for teachers and students. There's limited support of teachers implementing the technology in their classrooms, and there's inadequate professional development for the technology and helping teachers figure out how to implement it in their classroom. And teachers don't like to change. So my timeline is based on 10 years. In this time frame, more teachers will be using student-centered learning models. That's really mostly my prediction. I still predict that teachers will not be a thing of the past in 10 years or more, but our roles will be modified to make teaching a guiding role instead of a directing role. So my predictions are on flipping the classroom, virtual reality in the classroom, and project-based learning. So the flipped classroom model, currently on our campus, 3 to 4% of our teaching staff use some form of a flipped classroom. I predict that in 10 years we will see a 35% increase in the flipped classroom model. As more teachers become aware of the benefits of front-loading information to students, they will realize it leaves more time for activities that deepen student understanding and foster meaningful, real-world educational experiences. I don't know if flipping the classroom is innovative or just a revolutionary idea. There is not enough data to say if it is a disruptive innovation. A lecture in my class can take an entire class period, and demonstrations can take up to 3 days. I don't feel my students take away as much as I would like. Using this model, they can revisit the information, they can pause, they can back up, and they can work at their own pace. Direct instruction is boring for the students and often a challenge for the teacher trying to get through the necessary information. Virtual reality is something kind of exciting. So we can go and visit places that we've never been able to visit before. So going on a field trip is almost a thing of the past. Administrators don't want supporting leaving campus. Transportation is expensive, or the places that are appropriate for some content areas are not accessible during a regular school day. Using virtual reality opens up the possibility of traveling to other countries or going to museums that would otherwise be impossible. Using an affordable viewer and a smartphone, you can take your students virtually anywhere, pun intended. Many virtual reality viewers include audio and video and are usually 360 degrees. You can bring enriching experiences into the classroom for just a few dollars. I predict more teachers will be using virtual reality to take their students to places they might never be able to. At our school, we have 4 virtual reality viewers that I'm aware of. In the next 10 years, I believe we will have 2 full lendable labs of viewers, and some departments will have a class set of their own. Project-based learning. When core teachers discuss project-based learning, they think of it as extra activities to bring depth to a lesson. Most elective teachers think of it as teaching. Project-based learning is more authentic and engaging. The skills students will gain through this model will help them for their future. Students will develop deeper understanding of the subjects being taught. They will gain better critical thinking skills, and they will learn to collaborate and communicate with peers. These are the types of skills that they need for their future. I believe in the next 10 years, more classes will learn through project-based learning. Currently, only about 10% of teachers that teach core subjects are using this model of instruction beyond subjects that lend themselves to project-based learning, such as the arts, science, and career technical education classes. I feel that in this time frame, that number will increase by 30%. I don't feel it will increase more than that because teachers are not being taught to teach this way, and colleges need to catch up as well. In conclusion, in the next 10 years, I believe my predictions will become disruptive innovations. The predictions I have made are not new in education, but are not being utilized enough currently. Not only did current teachers not learn this way, but they're not being taught to teach this way. We are changing slowly but surely into the 21st century. We will guide our students with the types of models I predicted, where they will be implemented in more classes in more schools.